Welcome to Christ TV, Christ, truth of faith and value. There are lots of stories in the gospel regarding the healing ministry of Jesus. But do we really understand these gestures? Or we see it as healing or just miracle? Some might see it as magic, but it is more than that. It is more than just a healing, more than just a miracle, and far, far more than a magic. Because Jesus is not just a healer nor a miracle maker, but He is the image of invisible God here on earth. In Jesus Christ, decisive move of God was fulfilled in the history of man. Jesus is more than a healer or a miracle worker. Jesus is the fulfillment of God's promise of liberator, not just from political and physical oppression, but more so from moral and spiritual slavery. In other words, He is the tangible and decisive act of God towards the act of men and women. In line with this, we will be talking about the corporal works of mercy. Corporal comes from the Latin word corpus, means body or physical. That is why the corporal works of mercy means the physical work that we do. And there is one corporal work of mercy that is in line with our gospel for today: the visit of the sick. And we have this sacrament that is also related to this one, the sacrament of anointing of the sick. Jesus is telling us to practice the corporal work of mercy of visiting the sick. We may not be able to bring healing to these people, but at the very least, knowing that someone else do care and pray for them is more than enough gestures to alleviate the pain of sick person are undergoing. The sacrament of anointing of the sick is one of the 7 sacraments that Jesus instituted to be the tangible sign of His loving and saving presence. Through the sacrament of anointing, Jesus continues His ministry of healing even after the ascension. Now, we will be talking about this Salesian blessed who really worked for the sick. He is none other than Blessed Artemide Zati. He was a trained pharmacist, nurse, operating room assistant, as well as juggler of finances and head of personnel. In running the hospital, he also depended entirely on divine providence through the generosity of the people. Blessed Zati lived what St. John Bosco said to the first Salesians leaving for America: take special care of the sick, the children, the elderly, the poor, and you will receive God's blessing and the respect of those around you. Blessed Zati did not just live what his spiritual father said, but also fulfilled and continued this healing ministry of Jesus. He is faithful to this mission of Jesus. After hearing these things, Jesus is telling you, Ephata, be opened. Jesus is asking you now, what can you do for the sick people? It does not end with the physically ill people, but also with those who are mentally ill, especially for those who are affected mentally by this pandemic. For us young people to say Kumusta to those friends who are somehow being challenged by this pandemic, mentally, physically, and emotionally. That is the challenge for us Bosconians today. Are we ready to say yes to this challenge? Ephata, be open.